We want to go now on the phone to Ardie Tavangerian. He is a developer, a longtime Pacific Palisades resident. I understand you've been there for about 30 years, and you built many of these homes, designed many of these homes. Of course, this is some of the most expensive real estate in the world when we talk about the ones that went up in the Pacific Palisades. Thank you for joining us. Tell me what's going through your mind right now. You're a victim of this fire and also someone who helped design what used to be there.
Yes, thank you. It's a very, very sober time for us. We lost, of course, our home, and my daughter's home was just completed nearby recently, and then one of the major icons of the properties on San Onofre that was, and many others. The school project, the village school in Pacific Palisades, that was another one of our properties and projects that we completed, and I had a chance to go through the area, and it's really, really, it's very surreal that how the whole community disappearing, so quickly. Is not just the homes. Homes, of course, are nested around the community, but the community of Pacific Palisades is destroyed, and it's not there, and it's going to be a long time before you can put all the pieces together.
Well, that's, you talk about just the community, and I think that's what's striking so many people. We had a member of the Red Cross on, and KCAL News has partnered with the Red Cross for our KCAL Cares campaign. But the recovery efforts are going to be just enormous. The Red Cross is just one organization. But when you talk about a community, I mean, you're talking about churches, schools, theaters, and I'm just wondering, with you being a developer, what are you hearing from people? Even those who haven't lost their homes, do they even want to go back to these communities that are now lost?
I think it's going to be a major surprise for people. Somehow I was able to go through these areas the other night and just to see for myself, because I couldn't believe the devastation. And it literally looks like a nuclear bomb was dropped in our area. When you're seeing the blocks of the areas just completely with no homes on, and when you have no grocery stores, no gas stations, no post office, no schools, all the major, places that these people raise to our kids, and the many people, especially older people, that I think this is going to be a very challenging time. Even, in my estimation, is minimum 3 to 5 years. But during that time, I'm not sure. For sure, my family, they're telling me that they're not interested to go back anymore.
Yeah.
What is it like for you? You've seen some of these amazing works of art from start to finish. You envisioned what they would look like. You brought that to fruition. That must have been such an amazing feeling to create something like that. And now to see it gone, that's like really full circle for you.
Yeah, it's quite devastating to see, because it's not just the structures is what brought in. One of these properties, again, it's not about the dollars, but it was one of the most iconic, most let's put it this way, for sure, most expensive home in Pacific Palisades that just gone. But next door to it, was another property that I built long ago, was actually the Hanks's project property, and that stood by, and everything else around it, just one house in the middle of the whole thing just went away. And if you look at 1601 San Onofre Drive, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was out there, as a matter of fact, Ardie, on, I believe it was Thursday. Is that when I was out there?
It's hard to keep track.
It is hard. We've been doing this for so long now, it seems. But I think the thing that was most striking to me is you are a part of a very, people talk about just the mansions and the beauty of the Pacific Palace. These are still people's homes. This left so many people in just such dire situations. I don't want people across the country also to think it is just celebrities and, you know, the people who can rebuild. I know in the Palisades, I had a very good friend where their property had been in their family for you know, at least 3 generations. You know, there are people that have been there for a very long time, who just love this place. They've raised their kids there. Their grandkids have come back. You know, their children have moved into condos and things nearby. Those are now gone and have been taken. So it's not just the high-end, very luxury places and people with the means to rebuild. This is a community that really was special in so many ways because there were so many different people that had really made it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's not, even if you were in a garage, it doesn't matter because the fire is not discriminating, and you know, and this thing is just so people's anchors. I mean, myself, that you know, you feel that this is your base. This is, you know, I happen to have a vineyard by my house too, and I thought that was going to help me with the fire, but the issue is that people's base, especially at the, you know, the older age, you know, people, you know, they don't have any, you know, where am I, you know, you feel naked. Actually, I mean, literally, you know, we have everything is gone, everything on the property, including our bank, which was Bank of America, you know, which is basically we put a lot of things in there. Also, our bank burned down too. You know, this is just a major devastation, and it just really hard for me to look at this from a perspective of how do you. It's not just about the structures. The soul of the community went, and that's the hard part that's going to be put back together. You know, and I've talked to many people, and they're just totally, they don't know what. It has nothing to do with your economic condition. It's just that they feel lost. They feel like
a home is really a person's sanctuary, you know, and even if people can afford a mansion, many people perhaps lost everything, let's say in a revolution, and came back and built everything from scratch. This is hard earned in many cases. And when you talk about the soul of the community, the commercial centers, the restaurants, the gathering places, the houses of worship, those really are more than just structures. Those are places where people forged memories, where people came together, where people forged relationships with one another, and not to have those landmarks anymore makes a person feel lost.
No, it's going to be you know, I think this is a different one because it's affecting so many people at all different levels. It doesn't matter what your economic level is. Even if you somehow are able to save your house, I'm telling you, you won't be able to live there anymore. Yeah. Because it just doesn't make sense when you drive on a street that, you know, every house on both sides of the street is gone, and then your house is stayed fine for whatever reason. I doubt it that you would want to be there, and I hope that we be able to gather our strength to put some of these things back together. But I think emotionally is going to be a very, very difficult time for many of us, many people.
I heard that exact sentiment from so many people out there of just, it wasn't, you know, I'm going to go stay here for a few weeks and then figure out how to rebuild. I heard from people, you know, one young man, his family, he has extended family in Japan, and he's like, I'm out, I'm going, I don't want to be here anymore. There were other people in the area that had escaped and fled to Brentwood and hoped that area wouldn't be impacted. And I'm thinking about them as well, that now this is potentially, you know, they've lost their home in the Palisades, and now they've gone to Brentwood, which is being evacuated. And just the trauma of going through that, you know, I don't know how many people are going to want to come back and you know, take their kids to school down streets where homes are gone. And as you said, the grocery store is gone. I know that was a big one for a lot of people, is that a lot of people loved walking to the Ralph's that was there. That was almost a community spot. You think about talking to your cashiers and everybody knows each other, and you get a little gossip inside the grocery store of what's happening in the neighborhood. And that's now, it looks like a bomb went off, as you said. And I do think as other people, as you know, we're still in the firefight today, as that calms down and people can see the devastation, I think it's going to hit just so many others, that these are places, even if you didn't live there, that are now forever changed. As Ardie talked about, restaurants you used to visit, you know, it was very striking to me driving along PCH to no longer even be able to tell where the Real Inn was, where Moon Shadows was. It's not just one area affected. I think having so many of these fires, so many memories for people are going to be, it's just going to be very, very heartbreaking when people are finally able to see what's happened.
My daughter, she just had a child, and they built a beautiful home near the high school in Palisades because there was flats and they felt completely safe. And right on Tuesday morning, I went and visited. It looked fine, and basically their home completely vanished, and the whole block vanished right behind the high school, the Pali High. And she absolutely, and she's born and raised in Palisades. She's done, so there's no schools, actually. All the schools are gone. I mean, this is going to be really crazy. Because I have no reason to want to be in this area anymore. You know, I'm leaving, and this is the younger group. But for the older folks, which I know quite a few that they have lost their homes, is quite devastating. To what to do next. And it reminds me of the COVID time, that the beginning of March of 2020, that, you know, how everybody kind of changed their perspective from materialistic side of life to the spirits, and, you know, how people actually, their emotions. And this just reminds me of a lot of that again.
Absolutely. I was saying the same thing about the COVID time. It was, you know, a crisis that everyone shared. Everyone was in it together. Everyone in the initial stages maybe said, oh, I know someone who, I know a cousin who got COVID. And then in the end, it ended up touching everyone. I want to talk to you just quickly from your perspective as a builder, as a developer. You know, some of these estimates put the damage at $150 billion. Put that in perspective for us. I know you built Tom Hanks's house. You built a lot of these celebrity homes, these very expensive mansions. You say that you estimate 3 to 5 years before you can even build here again. Talk about what goes into rebuilding a community. It doesn't matter if it's big, luxurious homes or, you know, quaint cottages. What goes into rebuilding the community, and what are you looking at from a perspective of a builder, and especially when we know that insurance companies have been pulling out of these areas?
I think it's going to be quite challenging. It just happened today our company became 44 years old, and I've been built many of these very special homes around the town, and been very involved as an architect and a builder and everything else. So the issue is going to be you know, we need to, and I'm actually putting together something to help people to just know what to do as far as you know, from where to start. You know, from a building process, is I think the estimate is going to be far more than that, because the infrastructures, a lot of these places, there's no electricity. All the power poles, I saw so many streets that basically all the power poles, all the infrastructure is gone. So by the time, you know, you go through a process of permitting, design, you know, all of these things, and finding people, I think the challenge is going to be far more than that. There's going to be shortage of both supply, labor, materials, everything, even if you can find those things. And for a lot of people, I know they're underinsured. I know for a fact somebody that basically in a multi mega mansion, actually they really don't have any insurance for it. So this is going to be a big challenge from both the infrastructure, the process, insurance, banks. I mean, right now, again, I've talking to people that their coverage is less than their mortgage amount. So there's going to be a challenge for a lot of people to even if they have insurance, to get their money for their insurance because the banks are going to be, they're basically the leaseholder. They own that's why the banks, they ask you to insure your buildings, so they get to reserve their capital. But it's going to be very challenging. I think the estimate is far more than that.
Well, I think about, too, I was at a condo complex the other day, and, there's 107 units, I was told, within that condo complex that is now just gone. And you think of just the homeowners association, when you talk about insurance, the homeowners association, they had been dropped. They had gotten people to collect money to then get the state insurance. I mean, then the legal ramifications of potentially one of the homeowners suing, and just the tying up in the legal process that can occur. One of the other things I wanted to ask you about, and I'm not sure what you know, but my husband's a material scientist, and one of his biggest concerns is the cleanup of a lot of these properties and the toxicity of some of the materials. Do you know anything about that? I know people have been told to,
in general, I think there's going to be a lot of these type of challenges because right now, even the fire retardant materials that's being dropped, there's going to be a lot of those situations happens, and that is correct. I think many of these homes were older homes that potentially they have been exposed to asbestos and other things that now it's all open to air. It's there. And there's going to be a lot of things. I just hope that the officials get together and step back and change this from a process to an outcome. That what is it that they're trying to accomplish? Because I drove on Pacific Coast Highway. It is the saddest thing, between Topanga and Carbon Beach and those areas. This is just. Going through the process between the Coastal Commission and Malibu and all of that is it's very devastating for normal people, even for us that we've been in business for a long time. But I hope that somebody steps up and says, listen, we're going to help the people to get through this.
Absolutely.
And not just on the economic side, but just in the process. People are lost right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The mental anguish of just not knowing what to do next.
I've heard this called the California Compromise, right? It's so beautiful here. The mountains, the ocean. Of course, people want to live in these exclusive areas where this natural beauty is. But is this shifting now as we see the climate change and we see these fires become more and more frequent? We don't even have a fire season anymore here in Southern California. How will building be going forward? Do you think that people will be rebuilding here?
I think we are dealing with the Mother Nature at the same time. Building these homes in the middle of the jungles, think of that way. And then, there is an ecosystem, there is a process that nature is taking that we're dealing with. We decided to be in the middle of it. And, right now I'm in Bel Air area. I'm looking at the sky and looking at how close the fire is to 405 and the Getty Museum. I worked on that project long ago, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, this if fire can get there, what else could happen here now? How far this thing could go. But I think at the end of the day, there's going to need to be a lot of soul searching as far as how we can enjoy this amazing area at the same time be able to have a balance with the nature that's going on. There's a lot of imbalances going on right now that we are dealing with, and how they're going to dry these Santa Monica mountains. How are you going to dry it up? What are you going to do? You're going to put flame retardant on the whole thing? I think there is a lot here that just happened organically over the, let's say, last 100 years.
Yeah.
And now we are seeing something that man, as powerful as it thinks they are, they're not, as they can't deal with they can't fight the nature when nature decides to go in this direction.
Well, especially, we're not just talking about the Palisades fire. We're talking about so many fires that firefighters are having to battle over this last week. Ardie, thank you so much for being with us this morning and providing your expertise and perspective on just so many different aspects of this. And we are so sorry, and just want you to know our hearts are with you as you have also been impacted by this fire.
Thank you so much, and I wish all the best for all the whole community.
Yes, I think all of our hearts are with Angelenos today. Thank you, Ardie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We do want to look at this fire. You can see firefighters on the ground hoping to hold the line. I just looked up where this is located. This is about 6 miles to the west of the Getty Museum, where we are seeing those active flames enter into some very thick vegetation right now. And you can see firefighters just next to those homes, apparently concerned that those flames are going to potentially impact homeowners in this area.
Yeah, and we've been watching this just in the past couple of hours. We watched a home burn to the ground, and people are looking at this, and this is how they're seeing their homes. The people who have evacuated, they're seeing their homes go up in flames along with the rest of us as we watch this coverage live.